It's time for Brush Street Beat presented by McLaren Healthcare. Today's guest is Director of Pitching Development and Strategy for the Detroit Tigers, Dan Hubbs. Dan, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thanks for having me on.
We're excited. It's an interesting position that you have, the first for the Tigers. So to start this off, tell us what exactly your job is and what it entails.
Well, it's a little bit of a work in progress, but basically, the biggest part of the job is helping the pitching coaches with the data and analytics and the technology, and then being able to articulate that to the players as well. Being a go-between between the data analysts, players, the data analysts, the coaches, and more than anything, just letting everybody be on the same page about what the numbers mean and how we can use them to better help the players understand who they are as pitchers and what they need to do to be successful.
Going back to your days at USC, you actually had to be at the forefront of this type of technology in order to offer kids something that maybe they wouldn't get at the major league level if they would have signed a contract out of high school. Is that a fair assessment that you've been playing this game, Dan, for quite a while right now?
We have, and when I was at USC, I think it was probably 2013, maybe 2014 when we invested in TrackMan. Some other of the Power Five schools had it, and they had just started getting into it, and I felt like we needed it if we wanted to be competitive, just to give us an opportunity to better help our athletes understand what they can and can't do well. We're in the day and age where everybody wants to know why, as opposed to when I was playing coming up, it was just because the coach told you to. And so when you have the data to show them about why this is beneficial for you, then I think they're more apt to make some changes. They're more apt to believe what your eyes are telling you. And it just gives you more ammo when you go to a player and say, hey, let's go this direction, when they may feel the other way or they've done something for a long period of time.
Dan, you're working in Toledo right now with the Tigers pitching prospects, and obviously it's a bit of a different year from what you would normally see in Major League Baseball. But when you're working in Toledo with these guys, obviously they're playing or pitching against the same few batters every day. Does that kind of hinder the work that you do, or what kind of adjustments have you had to make because of that?
Well, I mean, the only hindrance is, you're trying to create a competitive environment, and it's tough when it's an inter squad versus when you're playing someone in a different uniform. It's just, that's the nature of the beast, and we're doing the best we can with creating different scenarios, putting guys on base to start innings. I don't think it hinders the development of the pitcher in that, when you're in your own division, you're playing the same teams over and over and over and over, and especially now when you look at the Central, they're only playing 9 different teams the whole year. So you're going to face the same hitters a ton, and they're going to get to know the pitchers intimately. And so you have to know what they do well, what they don't do well, how your pitches play off each other. You have to be able to pitch a bunch of different ways, meaning that you have to pitch backwards, be able to throw your off speed early and fastball late. You have to be able to attack with the fastball early, move the fastball around. And in order to do that and be successful, you have to know how your pitches play off of each other, where your strengths are, the movement profiles of your pitches, so that what you want to do, you're capable of doing against a hitter's weakness.
Tarek Skubal made his debut against the White Sox. We're doing this on Wednesday. Casey A. Mize is about to make his debut, and when this airs, obviously he would have already pitched. Talking to both of those young men, they seem very in tune with the situation, and they seem to have confidence. How easy is it when you have an eager pupil, shall I say, somebody that wants to absorb everything you have to tell them?
Well, I think, half the battle is getting them to want the information, and then can they understand the information? And I think a big part of the coaching piece of the job is, who can you give the information to? How much of the information can you give to them and not hurt their development? Because sometimes guys will try and chase a number as opposed to compete to the glove. So meaning that they'll look at the the data and say, well, that was a really good pitch. And, on the coaching side of it, okay, the movement was good, but to a bad location is still a bad pitch. And getting them to understand the difference. And then there's some guys who are younger that you won't even want to give them any of the information because their delivery is such that they can't repeat anything anyway. We have to get to that point first before we give them the information on the pitch profile. But when you look at those two kids, Casey came up using the data and technology at Auburn in all his off-season training, and so he's pretty in tune to the numbers. Tarek is really starting to understand the numbers more and more as we go along, but he really wants to know just maybe a little piece of it, whether it's a spin efficiency or whatever when we're in the bullpen, and he doesn't want a ton of the information. He just wants enough. And so you're just trying to figure out what do they want, what do they need, what can they use to really enhance what they do and not take away just their ability to compete when they get on the mound.
So you've been
Did that
working
answer
with
the question, or?
What do you think, Art? Was it good?
You know what? Yes, he answered it so well that I think that I'm going to revive because I'm left-handed. I think I'm going to start throwing the baseball again and see what this very old body can do. Maybe I can make the Cape Cod League. Who knows?
That's all right. You never know. You might be an outlier in that you're below hitting speed and it's just tough to hit.
Really?
Hey, that's a valid
I'm like
point.
I'm like a modern day Hoyt Wilhelm or something,
There you go. There you go.
Till he was like 100, so who knows?
Right. There you go.
Dan, talking about Tarek Skubal and Casey Mize, as we said, Tarek made his debut last night. I want to ask you as a coach, what did you think of the few innings that he did pitch? What did you think of his overall performance? And did you see things that you're going to go talk to him about that you think he needs to work on?
Well, I think, you take with a grain of salt. I mean, you look at his stuff, it's electric. I mean, he has a big fastball. He has a really good curveball. He has a really good slider. He has a very good change. It's about consistency at that level and making pitches. And, he faced a team that is absolutely on fire at the plate. It's a tough lineup to face, obviously. And he made a lot of really good pitches. Now, he made some mistakes and he got hurt by them. But that's something that he'll learn from. I think the biggest thing you noticed when he's out there is it doesn't seem like anything really phases him. And I think if he was striking out, 6 guys in 2 innings, or if he gave up 7 hits and 4 runs, you see the same demeanor pitch after pitch after pitch, and he just kept grinding it out. Obviously, and I think Gardy had said it after the game, and I think Rick had talked to him about it, just being a little bit more conscious of being to the arm side rather than specifically to the glove side. He was pretty amped up, I think, and rightly so. Your first time out there. And so you could see him pulling stuff to the glove side against all those right-handed hitters, and they have everything kind of coming into him, and there wasn't much going away from him. And so, that was one thing he was doing very well down here, was being able to throw that changeup when he needed to and throw a backdoor curveball and then power the fastball in and then be able to throw the fastball away. And it got away from him a little bit yesterday, but I would expect I guess it's Cleveland on Sunday, I think I read, was when he's starting again. I think, he's going to learn from each of these outings. And I was pleased with the stuff that I saw, and now it's just about refinement.
When you look at it that way, it sounds like, Dan, what you're saying is that Casey wants as much information as you're willing to give him, whereas Tarek wants just enough information, but not too much. Does that come with some guys don't want to be thinking all the time and just playing? I mean, is it a delicate balance that you have of giving them too much too soon, or do you want to just bombard them with information? It's up to them to process it.
No, I think the last thing I want to do is bombard them with information that's going to, the term paralysis by analysis. I don't want that to happen. I want their athleticism to take over. And when you watch Tarek pitch on the mound, I mean, he's very athletic when he's on the mound. And I don't want to take that away from him because he's trying to think about a lot of different things. I want him to attack with his stuff. And what he's looking for is, let's say, spin efficiency. So he's trying to figure out, hey, am I behind the ball and getting the rise to the fastball that I want? Do I have really good efficiency on my curveball so it breaks more to the ground? And And is my spin efficiency low on my slider so it breaks more? I mean, there's different things that we talk about, but he'll look at that and he'll just glance over and say, how was that? And I'll tell him where he's at. Good, done. Casey will want to know spin direction. So how is the ball coming off his fingers? Because he has in his mind what he wants it to be. And sometimes we have to back away from that where he can get too much into that and not enough at times just go get the glove. And he's discovered the balance that he needs, which I think is excellent. And so where we use it with Casey is more if something isn't going as well and we go in with the Rapsodo machine, we can say this is where you normally are when it's good. And then when he throws it, see, you're right in your range. Perfect. That's where we want to be. And then we talk about it that way. And I think that's helped him, once we've been in Toledo.
Dan, it's been very interesting to hear your perspective. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes to join us today. We really appreciate it, and we hope to talk to you as the season progresses. And of course, a big thank you to McLaren Healthcare for presenting Brush Street Beat right here on the Word on Woodward.